guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Molly and I'm so excited to do another like SCAD advice Q&A kind of video. I basically took a list of everything from my last videos and then I also kind of Google searched a bunch of questions that people had. I'm not going to give you like application details, cost. I know a lot of people ask, and even like housing and stuff. People ask the questions to me through like DM and stuff, which I get it, but at the same time, like those are things for the school to answer, not a current student. I don't know everything. So I just want to say like, go reach out to the school. I'm literally just doing this to help others to know the experience. I'm gonna kind of start off with a couple general things that you'll need to know about the school, but then I'm gonna go more into like, I guess, personal experience, you could say. It's more things like the school wouldn't tell you, essentially. I'm about to be a senior. My major is business of beauty and fragrance, so I will be starting my capstone project in the winter of this coming year, which I'm so excited for. I have a minor in social strategy. I just wanted to kind of get the basic things out of the way first. So I'm gonna start off talking about SCAD classes. SCAD is on a quarter system, which is kind of like trimesters, it's essentially called. At a normal college, it's 2 semesters, which last, I think, like 16 or something weeks. It's a long time. So we have a fall, a winter, and a spring quarter, and then there's also a summer quarter, and you take 3 classes per quarter. Some people do take 4 to graduate like time or early or whatever it is. Standardly, you take 3. They're all 2.5 hours long, which seems like a long time, but for the classes that you take, it's really not that long. It just makes sense because they're primarily studio classes, and our lecture classes are almost studio based because the assignments are more projects or like an essay, like something simple. Because they're 2.5 hours long, you meet twice a week. So if you have a class on a Monday, you're also gonna have that on Wednesday. If you have a Tuesday, you'll have it on Thursday. We do not have classes on Fridays. Fridays through Sundays are like your weekends, so that way you can work projects and all that. The workload is a bit intense for someone that has not experienced extensive amounts of work prior to college. Personally, I came from a school that had a pretty rigorous like academics, so I'm used to it. To me, it was very, very easy, and I have never had a hard time so far. I'm very good at time management, but I'm gonna get into that. I know that freshmen are now given their schedules for the entire freshman year. When I was a freshman, we only got assigned fall quarter, and then we got to pick the rest. Because that has changed, I don't know how it works with starting your major classes. Traditionally, you start sophomore year, but because they assign you, I'm not sure if you start it then. I'll talk about like declaring your major and all that stuff too, because you technically go in undecided. Attendance is mandatory. You can only miss 4 classes quarter for your class, or else you automatically fail on that 5th absence. So don't feel like you just don't want to go and miss 5 and fail because of attendance. Like honestly, a majority of these classes are really easy to pass as long as you're doing the work and like showing up. I'm gonna be honest, freshman year was really easy to go to every class. Once I got past that and started to get into other classes, it was a little bit harder for me to like motivate myself to go every single day. I think it's more just getting older and having more work to do. I will say I have started to use a lot more of my absences. I don't just skip for no reason. It's either if I have a migraine because I have chronic migraines, or if it's because I have like a big project in a different class that I need to like spend time working on. That's like usually the only reason I'll miss a class, and it's only if I know we're not doing anything like super important that day. But I don't like condone you missing class. You're paying a lot for your classes here at SCAD, so like don't just miss. I usually only miss if I have like a reason that I can really justify it, but like there's really no reason to just not go. But again, don't just fail out of your class because you don't go to class. Back to major. Everyone goes in undecided, I believe. I think it's only if you have like a scholarship on a certain major, because I know there are very few that do that. I still think you go in undecided and you can switch your major at any time. I don't even know if they still do this FYE class. It's for freshmen. It's your first year experience, and you have that like during your first semester at the school, like in person. It's usually with like your school, but you just kind of like learned like how to use your degree planner, your classes, like things in your major, how you declare it, and that's usually when you declare your major. But like it's really easy to change at any time. Just meet with your success advisor. I'm also looking at my papers. That's if I look down, I'm just like trying to remember everything I said. Registration, it is very stressful for the majority of people. I'm very lucky that I do have early registration due to accommodations, but it's really not easy to get into classes that you need and want because there are a low number of classes for the amount of kids that have to take them. We just don't have enough professors at the school. Like that's literally all it is. You need to have so many options when you're registering. I have like gen ed classes. There's not a lot of options for class like days and times. So have backups because they're gonna get filled fast. And also like you might have to take a class that you need to graduate at a time or day you don't want. So like you can pick your schedule, but essentially like it's kind of picked for you. Like my capstone project, there's only 2 options for when I'm gonna be able to take that, and it's also at days and times I don't want. So it literally just depends on your major and all that stuff. And use Rate My Professor. That's a pretty generic one. I've had all great professors. Like I've never had a bad one. I also kind of don't really, I use it, but like only for like gen eds. My major classes, like it's the same professors for everything, so we kind of know them all, but it's more gen eds that you have to like, you look for it. And then living, freshman year, pretty much everyone's in the dorm, and then everyone that I know moved off campus sophomore year. The Hive, Turner, and Chatham are all freshman dorms. I don't think it's required to live on campus, but I could be wrong. Like my freshman year, I'm pretty positive you didn't have to, but like most people do because you want to meet people. And every single dorm, like no matter where you go, are all suite style, so you don't ever have to worry about communal bathrooms. But yeah, you just share it's like 2 bedrooms typically, 2 bedrooms, 2 people in each room, so that's 4. And then there's a common room, a mini like kitchenette kind of thing, which is like a fridge and a microwave and like a sink and that stuff. And then there's a bathroom, the shower room, the toilet, and then like the sink outside. So that's like the generic stuff. I don't know more details about any of that, so if you are interested more in that kind of thing, go ask the school about it, or I don't know, just anyone else. Not me. I don't live in the dorm. I've moved off campus after freshman year because I personally did not like the dorms, which I'm gonna get into it about that. So going into, is SCAD worth it? Don't limit your options on where you want to go. SCAD really seems like the absolute best place when you're a senior in high school and ready to graduate. And for me, I kind of limited where I wanted to go. And I think it's just because I didn't know any better, mainly for my major. I don't necessarily regret coming here, but I kind of wish I had applied to some like normal schools and had that college experience. I personally was a competitive cheerleader in high school and I love cheerleading with my whole heart. And I kind of wish I cheered in college. Medically, I don't think I could have pushed myself for 4 years of competing just because I have a really bad back. But I do wish I kind of looked into more schools. I do question like if I should have gone to a different one, cheered and like done a sorority and stuff, like the traditional experience. But I think everyone probably questions if they should have done something different too. So I think this is kind of like a normal thing, especially now that I'm like a senior and I've done all of this. I've had a great experience so far at SCAD, but I am looking into grad school because I do want to get a little bit more of that normal feel of school. That's just something that I personally felt not everyone's going to be feeling. A lot of people had a really hard time in high school, like, and hated high school. I honestly did hate high school and I loved coming here. I will say that like a lot of people like would never have changed their decision for the world. So it's really just like depending on who you are, but I don't want you to limit your options because like you think SCAD's the best place on earth. Like it's a good school. I think I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do and I kind of been figuring that out now. It's still related to my major. It's still more businessy, but I kind of want to learn more business, if that makes sense. I don't really want you to limit your options, but at the same time, like if you think you're gonna thrive here, like you probably will. Don't take my like words so literally, but I want you to just think about other options because I don't want you to limit yourself and like regret it later on. Social life, parties, drinking, meeting people, all that stuff. My freshman year was 2021. I graduated in 2021 of high school, so fall of 2021 is when I started. And at that time, COVID restrictions were still happening. So it made it a little bit harder to meet people. We had to wear masks at all times, not in our like actual dorm. Anytime we went, like stepped outside of our dorm room, in the hallway, we had to have a mask. Cafeteria, we had to have a mask on, like classes, everything. So you could only see people's eyes. That made it so hard to know like what people literally looked like and if they were like judging you by their eyes. Like that's a lot to tell. And like starting college like that was so difficult. We also like didn't really get to leave our door open and stuff because like we didn't want the RAs to come and tell us to shut it. Like it was kind of hard to like just let people come in. And also the halls are so random like in the dorms, so you might not meet your best friends on that floor. You might find a building, but at the same time we didn't go like floor to floor and meet people because like it was still the COVID stuff. So I ended up meeting all of my best friends through my classes and also through like those people that I've met in classes, like those like connections. So like essentially everyone now is kind of like interconnected. Like you kind of know almost everyone, like a majority of people, like all the groups, like you'll know who they are. It's very cliquey, I will say that. But I became closest with people that are in my like school, in my major. So most people in like the business school or who I'm friends with, or also like the fashion. Technically fashion's not in ours, like fashion marketing, but like I don't know, I consider it because we're in the same building, just not the same school. So complicated. I'm friends with a lot of people in like social majors and also in FASM and beauty. Those are like all my friends. In fashion design, like those are all my good friends. And I think that just kind of took a little time because you don't start meeting those types of people until at least sophomore year. I personally didn't find my closest friends until junior year. Like that was when I really like found everyone that I hang out with. And I think by that point, everyone is like kind of starting to get sick of like partying and going out, that you just become closer like with other ways, if that makes sense. Like you're not just seeing people out on a weekend. And that kind of brings me into like the going out scene. There aren't really a lot of parties. Like there'll be some house parties, but not freshmen. It's like all upperclassmen because they're the ones off campus typically. They're fine. It's just kind of random. Also like those types of parties also only happen off campus because SCAD's a dry campus. So even if you're 21 and you live in a dorm, you can't have alcohol. So that's why a lot of people move off campus. But the main form of going out is going out to bars downtown. And that does mean you have to be 21. You have to be 21 to go into bars. So that does mean a lot of people will have other ways of getting in. So a lot of people do have fakes, but it's not necessary because you don't have to go out. There are no more 18 plus bars. There used to be one, Elon. My freshman year, there was still that one. So like I went there once or twice. I hate that place because it's like EDM music. It's just like really clubby. I'm not a club person. I've been out, don't get me wrong. I've gone out. I've been going out since I've been here because I felt like that's how I needed to fit in. I've never really been one to drink. And now that I am 21, I still don't even really drink. I like a nice loungy bar, rooftop, because there's so many of those. post. That's so fun to do. But if you like feel like you need to go get an ID, like to go out, like you don't, you're not missing out on anything. It's gonna seem like that because of social media, like you're seeing people post everything because you're probably following everyone who goes to SCAD because they want to meet people, but like you don't have to fit in that way, because honestly, like the nights out like that are not even that fun. Like you're not missing out, I swear to you. It's gonna seem like you will in the moment. Once you finally turn 21 and start going out, you're gonna realize like, yeah, it's fun, but like you don't have to be there. Unless like you're really much of a party person, then maybe you will. But honestly, a lot of people at SCAD aren't that type of person. Most people here are more introverted and like just want to do their work and things like that. I mean, there's a very good majority of not that as well, but for the most part, like don't feel like you're gonna not fit in or whatever because you're not going out. There's so many other ways to have fun and like have fun with friends. Like you can still go out at night. You might not go into like a bar or something like that, but like you can still go out downtown and it's fun. Like Savannah's a fun city, so just enjoy it the best you can. And usually people are 21 by their junior, senior year. I didn't turn 21 until a month ago and I'm about to start my senior year. I have a younger birthday, so honestly, like I don't care. I love staying in and like having fun nights with my friends and things like that. Clubs, there are so many clubs to join. Go to the club fair that happens in the fall. I think it only happens in the fall. I believe it's called Fall Fest. I know it's on September 20th of this year because I'm now a board member on clubs. Unfortunately, I have to fly home that day for a wedding that weekend. There are so many clubs to join, so just go to the club fair. You'll find people that have the same interests as you. You have a chance to like become a board member of those clubs. I never went to the club fair. I think it was online my freshman year because of COVID. I think sophomore year honestly was online too, or if it wasn't, like I don't think I went because it was at the Hive or something. But like if you're a freshman, just go. It's so easy. It's usually in the Hive when it's in person, and you can just walk around, see it, you get information. It also helps you kind of figure out if you want like to do a different major, because usually like I'm a board member of the social club and also the YouTube creators. I'm the vice president now of that one, and then I'm on the content creation club committee of the social club because that is my minor. But yeah, I just wish I joined clubs earlier on in my SCAD journey. I wish I kind of did it freshman year, but honestly, I don't think a lot of clubs even met my freshman year because of the restrictions, because they would have been online, and that's just like not that fun. I definitely would recommend joining clubs. It's such a great way to meet different people too. Like networking is great through that way, and I just think you'll enjoy it, and then you can work your way up to being a board member. On versus off campus housing, this is a big question. I'm kind of sharing my experience. I know that a lot of people dread kind of living on campus in a dorm room. It's like a lot. Freshman year, it goes by so fast. First of all 4 years lie by. Like I cannot believe I'm about to graduate in 10 months, not even. Yeah, like that's insane to me. It's gonna fly by, I already know it. On campus, it's not awful, it's not great, but like it goes by fast, so like you can deal with it. You can just suck it up and get through it. And anyone's gonna tell you that the food's awful, especially if you have any sort of allergy or intolerance. Like they're accommodating, but like not that great. Like I don't know. I personally freshman year was supposedly celiac, but then I found out later that I'm actually not, and that's like other stuff. I was eating gluten-free. There were not a lot of options, so I tried getting rid of my meal plan, like with a note from my doctor and everything, but they wouldn't let me do it. They would have told me to move to a different dorm, and I was like, I'm not doing that for like 1 quarter, I think it was. The food stuff's not great. I mean, I guess most colleges like aren't that great at food anyway, but I don't know, SCAD's pretty bad at food. But it doesn't matter because there's so many places to eat off campus. You're in the middle of downtown Savannah, so there's food literally like everywhere. So I moved off campus. I wanted a kitchen, and you're not guaranteed an apartment style dorm, even like as an upper like sophomore, junior, senior, you're not guaranteed it. And there's only like a couple that are apartment style. I wanted a kitchen. I also didn't want to have a meal plan because when you're on campus like that, you still have to have one. And also, like I was saying earlier, when you're legally 21, you cannot have alcohol in the dorm, like even if you're legal. Most juniors, seniors will move off anyway, just for like literally that reason. And I was just eating out so much because I literally was not eating the dorm food, that it was just cheaper to move off and not have a meal plan. And it's a personal preference, but everyone that I'm friends with have moved off like after freshman year. The Hue and the Helmsman are really good options because they're very similar to a dorm. They're fully furnished, but they have like all the amenities of an apartment, but I think they're pretty much only SCAD kids. So it's a great option if you want to move off campus, but you don't want to buy furniture, you want the amenities, like all that kind of thing. And they're a lot cheaper too. They're typically, you'll have roommates and things like that. I think there's single options in those. You all have your own bedroom, bathroom, and then there's like a shared kitchen and common space. Those are really good options if you don't want to like move to an apartment, get your own furniture, all that stuff. But there's also so many houses that people live in with roommates. Like most people move off with roommates. I know a lot of people that do like to move alone. I personally am alone. Some of my friends are alone, but you don't have to. Like that's a personal preference. I personally think off campus is better. I don't know. I just didn't like the rules and like having an RA. Like it's just like a whole thing. And also like I don't really know anyone on campus anymore. A lot of people do not have the time to do a job, but a lot of people do. I personally am one that I need a lot to keep me busy, and I was getting my work done so quickly because I have great time management skills that I was bored out of my mind. I picked up a sport outside of school freshman year because I needed something to do. And for me, that was just because of how I grew up. Coming here was honestly wicked easy for me, like too easy. I needed to keep myself busy. So yeah, I picked up a sport outside of school, then picked up a job, and then I picked up a second job because I was still bored and I wanted more stuff to do. So you don't have to do that. But a lot of people do like to have a job. Obviously, Savannah's expensive, like eating wise, like you're gonna eat out a lot. You're probably gonna go out, and it's great to have money like that, depending on your financial situation, whatever. But again, on time management, like you're gonna wanna start every single assignment right when you get it. Do not procrastinate. I know that's really, really hard. And especially if like you're not used to it, you do not wanna procrastinate because you're going to screw yourself over and have to stay up all night before something is due. I definitely have had my moments, but like also I am very good about starting things early. So it's never like that bad. I don't think I've ever actually pulled an all-nighter. Like I've wanted to just like to do it, but at the same time, like I need my sleep. And also you have to keep in mind that every project that you do for a class is something you can add to your portfolio. So if you're doing it for a class to get a grade, you might as well put in your best effort so you can get a good grade, but also so you can add it to your portfolio. And it's something that you can show companies and whoever comes to visit about like what you do. Just like do them right away. Don't leave things till the last minute. Online classes, someone asked like how they are. I honestly love an online class for anything that's not my major curriculum. If I'm not interested in it, like I can't like sit through it for that long. With online classes, they're fully asynchronous, so you can either attend live or watch it back later and you just like complete your assignments. So for things like an art history, I hate art history. That's an easy online class and I'll get everything done. I'm very good about my time management. So for me, it's easy, but I know a lot of people that absolutely hate online classes because they can't like get themselves to do it. It's really just depending on yourself. I personally watch them, like the recordings back in 2x speed. It also like allows me to like work during the day and then do the class later. I don't know. It's on my own schedule, which I kind of like, but a lot of people don't like that. It's just like a personal preference if you can manage yourself well and if you don't mind like being online and not super connected with the professor. I personally do like attend a majority of them unless like I have stuff going on, like working or whatever it is. How's the student life? I kind of talked about that a little bit. I think it's now easier to meet people in the dorm, but you're gonna meet most people in classes, I believe. Like that's how I did it. And just make an effort to talk to anyone because everyone's in the same boat as you. Everyone wants to meet each other and sometimes they're just too scared to start the conversation. But you never know, if you just start talking to someone, they'll probably want to be your best friend. Someone asked how tough is SCAD for like beginner artists? And I thought this was a really good question because I don't remember, but I feel like I was also a little nervous about this because I mean, I can draw. I took AP art in high school. Was I great? No. I know that like people are coming here that have been doing art their whole life and like, I guess I have, but I'm not that great. Some people are very, very good artists here. I wouldn't say it's necessarily difficult. I would say that it's more of a new experience. It's definitely a big time adjustment if you're not used to doing so many projects in like a short amount of time. And I'm also not the best artist, like I just said. You don't want to be intimidated at all because you're going to learn the basics during your freshman year. And if you're in a major that doesn't require a ton of drawing, you're going to learn the basics of that freshman year. So like your projects don't have to be great. As long as you're applying the things that the professors are teaching you and as long as you're trying your best, like you'll be fine. Things will get better. Like you're going to improve so much over freshman year drawing. Literally, like I was so much better after freshman year, but then I just kind of stopped because I don't really have to draw anymore. And don't compare yourself to anyone else because they could be in a painting degree in your business. You know what I mean? Like everyone's on their different path. Honestly, like I don't think I've really had anyone judge you. Critiques can be hard sometimes. Like honestly, I never had a bad experience at a critique. I knew my art wasn't great, but I didn't really get bad feedback as long as I was putting in that effort. People are generally really nice. They might be thinking your art's not that great, but honestly, like they weren't saying it, so I don't care. They're more concerned about themselves. Transportation. SCAD has buses, which are really good for freshmen. You don't need a car. You can walk anywhere. Even Kroger's not that far. From the Hive, it's kind of far, but like from Chatham, it's like 2 blocks away, wicked close. But also SCAD has buses to go to Kroger and Target. It's limited schedules, but like you can do it. And also Uber if you wanted. I did that once or twice freshman year. I ended up getting my car because I hadn't played a sport outside of SCAD that I started in like October. I waited until after the winter break to get my car down here because I needed to get to my practices because it's off campus. Like I had no other way. So I got my car and I also felt like I needed like a safe space for my dorm because you're sharing like a room with someone. I had 3 other roommates. So I felt like I needed like a safe space to just go and collect myself and like just be able to drive somewhere and just like relax. That's just like a personal preference. A lot of people don't need that and you can find ways to like figure that out on your own. But like in the fall semester before I had my car, I would just go for walks downtown and stuff a lot by myself and just enjoy my own company. But I loved having my car to be able to like really get myself, have my alone time. But yeah, like SCAD buses will take you anywhere, so you don't have to have a car. And you're probably gonna have friends with cars because like literally like so many people have their car. I drive my friends a lot. They drive me like back and forth, even though we both have cars, you know? Even freshman year, like I drove people and like I didn't mind because I understood like it's not easy to not have a car. Bikes, honestly, a lot of people have bikes. SCAD has some bikes you can do too. There's now like electric scooters downtown, random places that you can just like hook your phone up and ride. So you'll figure it out. Buses are pretty good. I kind of hated the buses, but like I did it because that's all I had to get to my freshman classes. Connections, this is my last point. SCAD is really, really good about having events for your major or whatever to have people come in and like talk from different brands and companies. Especially in my beauty major, we have a lot of events that these these companies come in and we do portfolio reviews, resume reviews, all that stuff. Definitely use Career Success. They are there to help you. I definitely use them a lot. I kind of stopped a little bit more towards the end of last year because I was not having any luck with internships. The only internships I got were through my connections with classmates. Honestly, like I didn't really get it through other things. And then also put yourself out there with professors. Like I developed a connection with every single one of my professors in some form. Like I was at least nice and whatever. And I found out this past year, go find out what your professor wrote about you. So if you go to Bradley Hall, you can go up and ask for professor reviews and they will print out a sheet of everything your professors have said about you, everyone you had for every different quarter. You can just read them. You're not allowed to like take pictures, anything like that. You can write down things and then you have to give those like papers back and they like toss them. It's very secretive, but that's something that most people won't tell you. I didn't find out about that until junior year from like other friends. Always have a good connection with professors because they will get you internships as well. And I feel like that was pretty much everything I wanted to talk about. I feel like that's the generic stuff. Now that I'm a senior, I had a little bit more insight, I guess you could say. This is a wicked long video. I'm so sorry. But when I was a freshman, I wanted this kind of stuff coming in because I was so eager. When I'm posting this, we have just over a week until classes start. So I want to wish you guys all so much luck. Have so much fun. Enjoy your time. It flies by. Like think that high school flew by for you, but college goes even faster. The fact that it's almost 2025, which is my graduation year, is mind-blowing to me. And I'm really trying to make the most of this year. If you have any questions that are not about the school, like whatever, like academics, don't ask about like admission costs. Like I don't know that stuff. Go to the school directly. That's not my thing. I'm literally just a student and I'm just sharing my experience. So reach out to the school for that. But like personal questions, sometimes off-campus housing, I can answer things. So I'm always like open for that help. I have one more year left. So this is my last year. I'll answer questions. So thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoyed it and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye guys.